How much money do you spend on maintenance? This time on Talking Vehicles with Joe. If you've been following along this series, you know for the last 3 or 4 videos, I've done a series on vehicle maintenance and some maintenance recommendations. One of the interesting statistics that I just read, according to the AAA, the average motorist spends between $800 and $1,500 per year on vehicle maintenance and repairs. Now, of course, that can vary widely based on the age of the vehicle, how many miles are on, and how many miles are on it. Because as we all know, as a vehicle ages and gets older, things break and need repairs. So that can make that number jump quite a bit. The bottom line is that it's going to cost you a certain amount of money per month and over a year of owning the vehicle just to maintain it, just to do the recommended maintenance. And if repairs pop up, it costs more. Now, I'm going to suggest to you that number, that $800 to $1,500 numbers, is woefully inadequate. I was in the automotive parts industry for all of my career. And one of the statistics that the industry tracked, they would track yearly, is how much money was not spent on maintenance that was recommended by the manufacturer. And their estimate was that there was approximately $40 billion per year not spent by motorists doing recommended maintenance on their vehicle, not counting repairs. So most of the time, motorists don't do maintenance. They delay it or they skip it because it just doesn't fit their budget. And to me, one of the things that happens, and frankly, I was guilty of this. I was in the industry and I was guilty of this for years. I would know how much money monthly I could afford to spend on my vehicle. So I knew roughly what my insurance was going to be. I knew roughly what I was going to spend for gasoline. And so I would subtract that from what my monthly budget was for a vehicle. And then I would say, okay, I can afford a car payment up to the amount that was left over. Really didn't take into account that I was going to have to pay money for maintenance and service on that vehicle, repairs over the life of the vehicle. And then, of course, what happens is when you need the maintenance, you suddenly find your budget squeezed and you're trying to well, I just can't do it this month, or I'm trying to find the cheapest that I can, or if I go into the shop and they recommend that I do things, I say, you're ripping me off. You're just trying to get money from me, because it's a financial squeeze. It's a problem. And the problem goes back to not necessarily that the shop is trying to take money from you that they shouldn't. It's that you haven't financially, or the motorist hasn't financially apportioned the proper amount of money for maintenance. I saw a statistic from the AAA that said the average unexpected repair, unplanned repair, in other words, a check engine light comes on, the car starts making a noise, or it quits functioning properly or altogether, and goes into the service shop, the average unplanned, unexpected repair is over $800. Well, I don't care who you are, that's a lot of money. And, when you don't have that planned in your budget, it's a huge hit. You're scrambling to try to figure out where that money's going to come from to keep your vehicle on the road. So my suggestion when it comes to maintenance is very simple. Plan in your budget some money. Set aside some money. Set up a separate savings account if you have to, and plan as much as $200 a month for maintenance and repairs. If your car is older and paid for, set aside what would be a car payment that you were used to. The average car payment in the United States of America now is $770 a month. That's huge. That's a lot of money. I'm really amazed. I can remember when I got my first, I'm probably showing my age now, but I can remember when I got my first car payment that was over $400 a month, and just being, kind of blown away that I had a car payment that big. Now that's a bargain. But the average unexpected repair is over $800 a month. The average car payment is almost $800 a month. If you got a car paid for, start setting that money aside like you're still making a payment and have it available to do the repairs on the vehicle. Now, I can assure you, most technicians, most independent repair shop owners are pretty honest. And when you get to a point of where your car is no longer worth doing service or repairs on, they'll let you know. But in the meantime, have that money set aside. So when you walk into the shop and he goes, well, we've got this problem. It's going to be $1,000 to get it going again. It's not a financial crisis for you. I can't tell you how many times I've been standing in a shop and I have seen literally people break down in tears, male, female, it doesn't matter, because their car is broken. They don't have the money to get it repaired. And they're really concerned about, how am I going to get to work? I've got to get to work. I've got to have a job. And I don't know how I'm going to make this work. They're really struggling. And all of that can be avoided with a little bit of planning. Just set some money aside in your budget for maintenance, and it will make life much, much simpler and happier for you. So this video is about maintenance and about taking care of a vehicle, but it's also a little bit about financial planning too, which is important because vehicles are expensive. I'm not saying they're not worth it. They absolutely are, but they're expensive, and it takes a little bit of financial management to make it work properly in your budget. I'm Joe Ferguson. Thanks so much for watching. If you think this video was helpful or interesting, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and send it to somebody that you think might be interested in it, that it might help for them too. So anyway, we'll see you next Friday. I do a video every Friday. We'll see you next Friday on Talking Vehicles with Joe.